Welcome back to Corey Craft. Today we're going to be building this external closet with a shelf mounted to the bottom. First thing to do is figure out what size I need to drill the holes into the wood planks. I think this will work. I'm going to do a test run on a spare piece of wood here that I've got sitting around, and I will see how that plank fits, and it actually fits perfect. So this is what I'm going to use. Next is I'm going to find the center holes to all these boards, and I'm going to just mark this centerpiece so that I can then drill out that hole. So what I've done on the drill press here is I have the bit in the press. However, the shelf itself has a cutout, but it's for smaller holes. So what I'll have to do is drill down. I've got it set to height so that the max amount down is about 3 millimeters up from the height of the table. What I don't want to do is hit the table. So I'm going to drill down until the max depth. So I'm going to flip the board, and I have a hole that's poking out the back from the guide there. And I'll just center the drill bit up here. And then what will happen is I'll take the last few millimeters of material and it'll leave me this little disc. I just simply poke out, and there we go. I have my whole board and ready for the top rung. Now I have all 4 boards with the top rung holes drilled. This will be the top rung that we'll use. I'm just going to remove this sticker so that it doesn't get in the way. We'll do a quick test fit. We'll see how that works, and looks like this is going to work really well. That went in pretty smooth. It's snug, it's not loose. Perfect. So these boards will just flail out like that. Kind of scissor action from the top. And that will be the basis of our stand. So let's get this moved inside, and we'll measure out the feet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the backboard up against the wall, and I'm going to figure out how far apart that I want these feet to be. I'm not doing any complicated math here. I'm just looking to see what is an ideal measurement and make both sides match that. Once I have my width set, I'm going to use this spare piece of wood that I've got sitting around for a level on the floor, and then I'm going to mark the floor level so that I can then cut that little corner off and have the board flat on the ground instead of at this small little angle that it's at. And you can see here there's a variety of lines that I've drawn on it just based off of the different depths of wood I was using as a level. I was increasing it as I went until I found the proper depth. So I've got the angle, I haven't measured it, I don't know what it is, and it doesn't matter. I'm going to set my bandsaw up to cut at that exact angle that I have marked on this board, and then I will cut all subsequent boards based off of this setup. Of course, my equipment's not plugged in. And just continue on with the other boards, just ensuring that my length is set. equally throughout. The angle is already taken care of. So now I'm just gonna figure out an eyeball with good measurements where I want that bottom rung for the bottom shelf to be on all 4 of these boards. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the inside of the angle and measure down 7 centimeters and then center it up. So this particular plank is 9 centimeters wide, so at 4.5 centimeters is center plank and 7 centimeters down from the inside of the cut. I'll just copy that throughout the boards. Here I've got a good view now of the center of the cut that we'll be making and the shape of the bit. So I'll just center it up, secure the board from moving. I'll just hold it and drill down for the majority of the thickness to this plank, and then flip it over and take the last few millimeters out. And I'll do this on all 4 planks. I have to admit, popping this disc out is satisfying. We're back inside. So first I'm gonna take 2 sets of boards and I'm gonna make sure that the angles are opposite of each other. And I'll insert this top rung and do the same for the other side. I want to take a moment here to thank my cameraman. He's doing an amazing job. I think he's distracted a little bit. His shot was a little out of frame, but he works hard and he does a great job most of the time. We'll go ahead and get these bottom rungs installed and get them set to the proper measurements. You can see it's a little wobbly up at the top. There's no base yet to secure it. And I also want to point out that this structure is not meant to carry a lot of weight at the top. The integrity of it is going to be by the bottom shelf and the items placed to weigh down the bottom shelf. It's not going to hold, you know, a rack full of your race leathers or anything. Now I'm going to sandwich the 2 boards on the rungs with just some simple wooden dowels. I'm going to measure this. I think this is a 2 centimeter stick out, and then I'm going to mark the rung on both sides so that I have a line for reference so that I can drill the holes and fill that hole with a wooden dowel just to keep the boards from moving side to side. And I'll do this on all 3 rungs. So this is the wooden dowel I'll be using. It tells me it's a 6 centimeter wooden dowel. I don't trust anything, so I'm going to verify. And it checks out. It's 6 millimeters. Excellent shot. Thank you, cameraman. Maybe he's eating food again. You can see the lines that I've drawn for reference. So what I want to do is set the depth to just a little bit in, a little bit less than a centimeter. It's probably realistically half centimeter, 1/4 inch. And all I want to do is set the drill bit up to start drilling on the apex, the top of the round stock. And I want to drill to where the edge matches up just on the outside of the line. Here's some wooden dowel rods that I've cut on the bandsaw by hand real quick. I just cut them to about 1 inch long. In hindsight, this is too long. I only have them embedded into the rod about 1/4 inch. And so there's a lot of stick out, but it doesn't affect anything. It's just an aesthetic piece. If I wanted to go smaller, I could. You see my cameraman is distracted again. He thinks I might have some treats for him. He's a little disappointed. He's unsure what I'm doing. So I'm just going to go around and put these dowels in all of the holes that I drilled and get everything secure so that it doesn't fall apart on me. I'm going to set the width of the bottom rungs again, and I want to make sure that the angle is nice and smooth with the floor. I can make any minor adjustments if I need here. Then I'm going to measure out my bottom rungs. I think I'm measuring these out to 65 centimeters for each rung. And my cameraman is taking a break again. I'll get my bandsaw set up to 90 degrees and I'm going to cut 4 boards to measurement. Coming back to the drill press, I'm going to change this drill bit out to a smaller drill bit. I want to drill some pilot holes. I am fairly close to the edge of the plank. They don't split the end of the plank. Now that I've got my boards cut and my pilot holes drilled, it's time to see how it looks with the boards installed. I'll take a little bit of time by eyeballing it and doing some measurements to make sure that everything's centered before I put the screws in. So I've got about a 14 centimeter gap between boards. I'm just going to make sure that all the gaps measure out right. And it seems the screws go in really well. This board was a little too far forward, so I'm just going to fix the alignment of it. I'm going to make a quick adjustment to the front support to get all of the holes lined up and make sure that the boards are finally straight. And there was a little bit of movement from the back screws, and I'll get them all put in place. And we're finished. Quick and simple crafts, nothing fancy. I'm not going to finish this wood with a varnish or anything. I'm going to leave it exactly like this. Put some weight on the bottom shelf with some storage, and then hang my polo t-shirts from the top. Thanks for being here and watching another video brought to you by Corey Crafts.